Hello everyone, 76 Patriot here, and today I have some really awesome news to share with you guys. Now, some of this happened several days ago, basically within the past kind of week and a half, but a lot of these members of the kind of liberal punditry at large are actually shifting states, crucial swing states, towards President Trump's direction. And this is an awesome thing that is absolutely great to see. And I think it's long overdue considering what we've been seeing from the polls and just in general the political scene at this time. So we can see Elections Daily shifted two states that are absolutely crucial towards the Republican column. They shifted Arizona and Georgia to leaning Republican. This gives Trump 262 votes kind of out of the gate, or certainly he is very likely to have at this point in their estimation. And so we can see yellow as toss up, but that is big. I mean, this is putting them, on the same kind of ground as Texas or North Carolina, and this is important. And they even say we're moving these states due to the preponderance of evidence. Biden has not led a major poll in either state since last year, which is absolutely disastrous for an incumbent. There's no other way to slice it. There's no excuse that can be made for that. That's just plain and simple awful for, if you're an incumbent president. And they even say the polls are outside the margin of error. So they're basically admitting they can't pull up, pretend any longer that these states are really a toss up, which is absolutely great to see. And they say this is getting really close to a Trump win. 262, he's almost there. So they're saying if he wins Nevada and Nebraska's second, I'm not sure how likely that is that he's going to win Nebraska's second, but he would win. So that is absolutely huge. And, so that they're not the only pundit to do this. Just a day later, July 9th, Cook Political, 6 states moved toward Trump in electoral college ratings. Now, obviously, this is behind a paywall, and I actually have not subscribed to this. Regardless, though, we can actually see some of the states that they shifted. And basically, they're saying they're shifting these all to the right. Some of these were likely, I believe, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Hampshire. And if you're wondering how I know this without reading the article, I saw it on social media by some other people that kind of told what states were shifted. So toss-up, we can see, that makes sense. These 3 states, kind of part of the blue wall, it makes sense in my opinion. Lean R, though, again, Arizona and Georgia. And they actually go so far as to include Nevada now, in their estimation, as leaning Republican, which I think is absolutely a fair kind of supposition, if you will. I mean, if Arizona is moving to the lean R category, I think you have to move Nevada, because Nevada is a state, as crazy as it sounds, might actually vote to the right of Arizona this year. And Georgia, certainly, I don't think there's any debate with that Trump is certainly in the driver's seat as of right now. So this is something that's absolutely fantastic to see. Again, it's long overdue. I think there are some of these websites and some of these kind of outlets were trying to probably wait as long as they possibly could to do this. However, they can't hide it anymore that Biden is doing so bad across these states. And because at this time he was leading in the polls substantially. He was up by like 5 or 6 points around this time in 2020. And that is just not the case right now. And all the more he is an incumbent. His numbers should be fairly high if he wants a good chance at victory, but they're not. And one last one. This actually happened a while ago now. This is slightly over a week on July 3rd, but it's the same trend. Sabado's crystal ball, another kind of pundit that's held up as the gold standard. I digress, but regardless, electoral college rating changes. This is right after the debate. Shortly after the debate, Upper Midwest moves. And they only moved 2 states. They moved Minnesota, of course, likely to lean. That makes perfect sense. But Michigan, this is a big one. For whatever reason, they had it as leaning Democratic. I think that's ridiculous. I think it also shows some of their underlying biases as well. But now it's a toss-up. So even they can't hide anymore. And Larry Sabado is somebody that's a total liberal Democratic hack. And even he, can't pull off this charade anymore of pretending that Biden has a good chance in these states. And they even say debate. Sabado said the worst performance ever by a major party candidate in a general election presidential debate. That is bad if a kind of party line Democrat is saying that. And they do give some kind of reasonable explanations as to why they're changing. And they talk about polling, bad debate performance. And right here, it may no longer make sense to give Biden the benefit of the doubt after the debate. And sure, I get some of their assumption is that Biden's going to perform a little better in November than polls, because again, polls cannot be taken as gold on their own. Just looking at a poll, you can't say that's how much candidate X is going to win it by, because we know they were off in 2016, 2020, albeit biased, obviously, in favor of Democrats, but still, you can't just completely overlook the polls either when it's poll after poll for month after month after month, and in some states Biden hasn't even led for a year. You simply can't overlook it at this point anymore. And they basically say why. We've been giving Biden the benefit of the doubt. In Michigan, I think that's dumb. I think it's a total toss-up, pure toss-up. And they even say, even though we still expect it to be the bluest part of the blue wall, based on whatever demographics, precedent, all that stuff, we really can't justify giving Biden an edge there now. Minnesota, I think that also makes perfect sense as well. Minnesota is the second bluest Midwest state. Trump almost won it. Exactly. And it's one shade bluer, not two shades bluer. It's not a safe Democrat state. And if Michigan, they kind of acknowledge that if Michigan is seeing a shift to the right in their predictions, Minnesota would also necessarily follow. And basically, this is really bad. I mean, for Biden, if you're a Democrat, and they even admit Biden needs to carry all the blue wall trio, and I would probably agree as well. I definitely don't think he's going to. It's certainly not at this point. And he's really no better than 50-50 in each of them at the moment. This article also, immediately after this, states the next states to move to a more competitive category would be Maine, Virginia, and New Mexico. And I agree, they remain likely Democratic if we look at this. New Mexico is one I kind of have in the middle. Honestly, it really could go lean or likely. We saw a poll that showed a number of days ago, I believe it was over probably a week and a half ago now, that showed Biden very narrowly leading Trump by several points. And Virginia, of course, we've seen number of polls that have shown Biden and Trump actually tied, or certainly within a point or two of each other. And that's crazy if that holds. So we'll see. I think those probably should be lean Democrat, given the trends that we're seeing. But honestly, all around, this is just crazy. Crazy in a good way if you're Trump. And if you are voting for Trump, this is a good sign. And they even admit we'd have to consider moving Arizona and Nevada, as we did with Georgia, because they moved Georgia, which makes perfect sense. They would also have to follow, like what Elections Daily did. And honestly, if it keeps up at this point, I think they will move Arizona and Nevada, because that makes sense. If Georgia is leading Republican, I think these two states are as well. So that's basically a lot of the news I wanted to cover today. But it's just been a bad streak for Dems, if you will. And even the pundits, we can't get complacent, but when even the pundits, liberal people, very liberal outlets that are admitting Biden's chances are slowly waning and slipping away if the polls consistently keep up like this, it is a good thing to see, because these are the same talking heads, certainly a lot of these kinds of folks, that in 2016 thought Hillary had it in the bag. And so, 2020, of course, they massively overestimated Biden's support as well. They thought he was winning Wisconsin by like 8 points. I mean, this is crazy. So when these same people now are actually shifting states towards Trump and away from Biden, it's something you absolutely love to see. And again, we can't just go around thinking we have this in the bag. We have to work hard to get Trump elected. But at the end of the day, it's something that is a positive development. And I hope it keeps happening. I hope, who knows, if this keeps up, we could see every swing state move to leaning Republican. But that's it for this one, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day.